okay, the specific value that is inside of the specific position, okay. So the next method is get item ID. So as you can see here, the return type of this method is long, and the name of this method is get item ID, and this method actually accepts an argument of type position, as you can see here. So the item ID of our objects would be the position of our values inside of our arrays. For example, this animal images array, for example, the position of this value, as you can see here, is 0, okay. So this would be the item ID, okay. So I can just return this position here, okay. And as you can see here, we have get view method. So this method is going to be called on every iteration of our values inside of the list view, okay. Whenever we actually scroll down or up, this method is going to be called in order to actually put our objects and values to the list view, okay. So this method is very important, and as you can see, this method actually returns a value of type view, and the name of this method is get view, okay. And as you can see, this method accepts 3 arguments. The first argument is int position, the position of our objects inside of the list view, okay. And this view, as you can see here, this is another argument, convert view. So just change the name of this argument to view, okay. So this argument is the view of our objects in the list view, okay. And we have a view group parent, okay. And this would be, for example, the list view itself, okay. Now let's actually delete this line of code here, and then we're going to actually put in our own implementations inside of this method here. So now I'm going to actually paste in some lines of code here inside of this method, and then I'm going to explain to you what's going on here. So as you can see here, these are the lines of code that I actually pasted here inside of this get view method, okay. First of all, in line 57, as you can see here, I actually try to assign a value to this view object that we actually receive as an argument from this method get view, okay. So I just referred to the name of this argument view, assignment operator, and then I actually referred to this layout inflator object that I actually declared in line 17 in our customized list view class. And as you can see here, inside of this constructor of this customized list view class, I actually instantiated this object, okay. So as you can see here, I referred to the name of that object layout inflator dot, and here I am actually calling this inflate method on this object, okay. And this method actually accepts 2 arguments. The first argument is the customized list view, okay. We need to put our own customized list view that we actually created in our project, okay. So this is our customized list view.xml file. So for the first argument, I needed to assign that value here, r.layout.customized list view, okay. And the second argument is for the root. So we don't need that value here, so I just assign null here. And here, as you can see in line 59, I actually created an object of type image view. So the name of this image view is img animal, okay. As you can see here in our customized underline list underline view.xml here, as you can see, this is our image view, and the ID of this image view is img animal, okay. And here I assigned the value img animal for the name of my image view, assignment operator. And as you can see here, I am actually casting this object to an image view object. And here, as you can see, I referred to the name of this view here, okay. So this view actually has this customized underline list underline view inside it, okay. So I needed to actually refer to this view here in order to access these components inside of this customized list view here, okay. And here I referred to this view here dot find view by id r.id.img animal, and I do the same here, and I actually declared this text view as final, okay. And as you know, final means that this object is actually constant, okay. And as you can see, type of my object is text view, the name of my object is txt animal name, assignment operator, and then here I actually casted this object to a text view object, view dot find view by id r dot id dot txt animal name, and I did the same job here, text view txt animal power, and then I actually casted this object to a text view object, view dot find view by id r dot id dot txt animal power, as you can see here. So we have txt animal name and we have txt animal power here, and here as you can see we have txt animal speed, view dot find view by id r dot id dot txt animal speed. And here I actually created two string objects, okay? String old txt animal power, okay? As you can see here, txt animal power dot get text dot toString, and I actually created another string object, old txt animal speed, txt animal speed dot get text dot toString, okay? So now I want to actually output some images to the image views on the screen, okay? So as you can see here, these are the addresses of our images, okay? So here, I just need to refer to the name of this img animal dot set image resource, okay? And here, as you can see, this method actually accepts, okay? As you can see, @drawable resource. This refers to the drawable folder int res id, as you can see here, okay? So here I need to actually refer to the res ID, resources ID of my images inside the drawable folder, okay? So these are the addresses that are inside of this animal images. So I can just refer to the name of that array, animal images, sub position. So as you can see here, we have this position as an argument to this method, and we can use this position here in our method. So as you can see here, I just referred to this position here that we receive as an argument. So this position knows the specific value that is inside of the specific position of this array. So we could just refer to that position, and here we can actually access the specific image that is inside of the specific position of this array, okay? So now let's actually go back inside this main activity.java file here. Now let's actually create an object from this customized list view class here. So I just need to refer to the name of this class, customized list view, and I would prefer to name this object adapter, okay? Because as you can see, this customized list view extends base adapter class, okay? So there is an is/are relationship between these two classes, okay? So I can call the object that I actually create from this customized list view as adapter, okay, assignment operator, and then I just put in the new keyword, and here again I refer to the name of this customized list view class. So as you can see here, the constructor of this class actually accepts a value of type context. As you can see here, when we created the constructor of this class, we specified that this class actually accepts an argument of type context, and here we initialized this context variable, instance variable that we created inside of this class, and then we initialized this layout inflator object that we created inside of this class, okay? So here I just need to put in a context. So the context would be this class, okay, main activity class. So I can just type in main activity dot this, and then I need to put in the semicolon at the end of my statement. So as you can see, we have an adapter here, and we have also a list view, okay, that is inside of this content underline main.xml. So now I want to actually inflate this customized list view here that we created on this content underline main.xml, on this list view here, okay? So in order to do that, I can just type in lst view dot set adapter, okay? And here we need to put in the adapter inside of this parenthesis. So I can just refer to the name of this adapter object, as you can see here, and it's done. But we have an error inside of this customized list view.java file here. As you can see here, inside of this getView method, as you can see, we needed to actually return an object of type view, as you can see here. So this method actually returns a value of type view. So I can just return that view here, okay? The view that we receive as an argument, And as you can see in line 57, I assigned this value to that view object. Okay, layout inflator that inflate this customized list view. Okay, and as you can see, the second argument is null. Okay, and then we assigned that value to this view object, and here I can just return that value. Return view, semicolon. So now let's actually run our project and see what happens. So as you can see here, our application is actually running on this emulator here. Okay, and now we can see these images here. Okay, if I scroll down, I can see these images, but my application is actually taking too much memory. Okay, because of these images that I actually assigned to these image views here, as you can see here, and it crashed. So as you can see here, let's actually go inside this log here in order to see the cause of this error. And it says that failed. As you can see, it says java.lang.out of memory error. Okay, failed to allocate this value byte allocation with this value 3 bytes and 8 megabyte until this value, as you can see here. The cause of this error is that our application is taking too much memory because of those high quality images, and we cannot just type in img animal.set image resource and the name of that image. We need to actually do something with those images. Okay, we need to actually reduce the size of those images. So how we can do that? So in order to do that, let's actually delete this line of code here. And now I'm going to actually paste in some lines of code here, and then I'm going to explain to you what's going on here. Okay, everyone, now I'm going to actually paste in some lines of code here, and then I'm going to explain to you what's going on here. So as you can see here, first of all, in line 51, I actually created a bitmap factory.options object. Okay, so what is actually a bitmap? Let's actually go to the Android documentation in order to see what are bitmaps. As you can see here, it says bitmap objects in a way that keeps your user interface components responsive and avoids exceeding your application memory limit. Okay, if you are not careful, bitmaps can quickly consume your available memory budget, leading to an application crash due to the dreaded exception. Okay, mobile devices typically have constrained system resources. Okay, Android devices can have as little as 16 megabytes of memory available to a single application. Okay, and this is very important. Okay, and bitmaps, as you can see here, take up a lot of memory, especially for rich images like photographs. Okay, and here let's actually go click on this loading large bitmaps efficiently. So I already opened that here in a new tab. As you can see here, it says images come in all shapes and sizes. In many cases, they are larger than required for a typical application user interface. Okay, for example, the system gallery application displays photos taken using your Android device's camera, which are typically much higher resolution than the screen density of your device. Okay, and here it says read bitmap dimensions and type. Okay, we can actually read the bitmap dimensions and type. But here, this is very important. As you can see here, load a scaled down version into memory. Okay, so here, as you can see, it says now that the image dimensions are known, they can be used to decide if the full image should be loaded into memory or if a sub-sampled version should be loaded instead. Here are some factors to consider: estimated memory usage of loading the full image in memory, amount of memory you are willing to commit to loading this image given any other memory requirements of your application, dimensions of the target image view or UI component that the image is to be loaded into. So as you can see here in our application, the dimensions of our image view. So let's actually click on this clear cache here. As you can see is, for example, for the layout width, I assigned the value 100, and for the layout height, I again assigned the value 100. Okay, so these are the important factors that we need to consider when we want to actually output some images to the screen. And as you can see here, it says, for example, it's not worth loading a value pixel image, as you can see here, this value pixel image into memory if it will eventually be displayed in this value pixel thumbnail in an image view. Okay, to tell the decoder to subsample the image, loading a smaller version into memory set in sample size. So this value this variable, we need to set this variable to true, okay, in your bitmap factory.options object. Okay, for example, as you can see, this is an example for this bitmap. Okay, but here in our application, in our customized list view, as you can see, I created a bitmap factory.options, okay, so that we can actually call this variable on this object, okay, options.inSampleSize4, okay, and here I created an object of type bitmap, okay, bitmap factory.decode resource, okay. So because we actually we have our images inside of the project, as you can see here, we have these images inside of this drawable folder in our project. So we needed to actually call this decode resource here on our bitmap factory. Okay, so bitmap factory.decode resource. So, and this method actually accepts some arguments, context that get resources. So here we need to actually refer to the resources of our application. So context.get resources, and the second argument is the specific image inside of our animal images array. Okay, and here, as you can see, we have another argument here, options. So these options would assign this in sample size here, as you can see, this value for our image. And here I am assigning this bitmap to my IMG animal image view. Okay, so let's actually run our project and see what happens. So now, as you can see, we have now the scaled down versions of our images on these image views. And as you can see, the quality of our images are actually a little bit low, okay, low quality images. And let's actually change this number 4 to number 8. And let's actually run our project again. So as you can see here, again, our application is running on this emulator, and you can see that these images are actually very low quality, okay, low quality images. So let's actually change this, and as you can see here, although our images are actually a little bit low quality, but they're not actually taking too much memory, so that our application actually doesn't crash here, as you can see here. Okay, so if I, for example, change this value to number 2, the quality of our images are going to be a little bit high quality images. So now let's actually run our project again, and here, as you can see, now we have high quality images. Okay, but I think this is not the right way to write our codes. But here I just wanted to show you what is this bitmap factory.options, okay, how we can actually use bitmap factory in order to actually receive the images and output those images to the screen. Okay, so let's actually comment out these lines of code here. Okay, and now, according to the documentations, we can actually use these methods, okay, that the Android gives us, the Android documentation gives us. As you can see, we can use this method. So I just copy this method here, as you can see. Now let's actually go to our Android Studio, and after the ending curly brace of this method, as you can see, of this getView method, I want to paste this method here, and then I'm going to explain to you what's going on here. So as you can see here, this is our method, okay, and as you can see, the access modifier of this method is public. This method is static, so it is going to be a class method. We can use, we can call this method on our class. And the return type of this method is int, and the name of this method is calculate in sample size. Okay, so it's going to actually calculate this in sample size variable for us automatically according to our images. Okay, so this method actually accepts some arguments. Bitmap factory.options, options, okay, int required width, int required height. Okay, and as you can see here, inside of this method, it actually created some variables, local variables. The first one is constant int height, as you can see, and here it put an assignment operator, and then it referred to this options argument dot out height. So this dot out height is going to actually give us the height of our image. Okay, and then here we have a width. Okay, and then it actually gives us this the out width. Okay, the width of our image, and then it's going to assign that value to this width constant. Okay, and we have this int in sample size variable. Okay, and it assigned the value number 1 to this variable, and it actually created an if statement here, as you can see. If the value of this height, as you can see here, this local variable height, this constant, is greater than the value of this required height that we have here, or if the value of this width, as you can see here, is greater than the value of this required width, as you can see here, then it's going to actually execute these lines of code inside of this if statement. Okay, so as you can see here, it actually created a comment for us. It says calculate the largest in sample size value that is a power of 2 and keeps both height and width larger than the requested height and width. Okay, and we have a while loop here. As you can see, it says while the value of this half height variable, as you can see inside of this if statement, it actually created two other local variables, final int half height. So this is actually a constant. Okay, and it actually divided the value of this height constant by 2 and then assigned that value to this half height constant, and then it did the same job for this half width here, half width assignment operator, width divided by 2. Okay, and here it says if half height divided by in sample size, as you can see here, is greater than required width, and we have an AND logical operator here, half width divided by in sample size is greater than required width, then it's gonna actually multiply the value of this in sample size by 2, and then it's gonna assign that value again to this in sample size here. So this line of code is actually the same as this line of code that I am going to write here. In sample size assignment operator, in sample size multiplied by 2. Okay, so let me actually comment out this line of code here, and as you can see here, it's gonna actually return this in sample size for us. Okay, so this value would be the proper in sample size for our image. Okay, and if this method doesn't make any sense to you, okay, don't worry, you don't have to know what are these calculations, but know that this method is going to actually give us the proper in sample size that we can use on our image. Okay, so that our application doesn't crash. And we have another method in Android documentation. As you can see here, we have this method, and it says to use this method, first decode with ingest decode bounds set to true, pass the options through, and then decode again using the new in sample size value and ingest decode bounds set to false. Okay, so what is this ingest decode bounds? We have it actually introduced this variable to us here, as you can see, setting the ingest decode bounds property to true while decoding avoids memory allocation, returning null. Okay, so it's not gonna actually assign that image to the image view if we actually assign the value true to this variable for the bitmap object, but setting out width and out height and out mime type. So this is the type of our image, and here it says that we have this method here. Okay, so let's actually copy this method here. Okay, and let's actually go to our project and let's actually paste this method here, and we have this method here. Okay, public static bitmap decode sampled bitmap from resource. Okay, so it is going to actually decode the images that are inside of our resources here, as you can see. And here we have a reference to our resources, res. We have the res ID, or the ID of our resources. We have required width and we have required height. Okay, and here, as you can see inside of this method, first decode with ingest decode bounds to true to check dimensions. So if you want to check the dimensions of your images, set this value, set this variable to true. Okay, final bitmap factory.options new bitmap factory.options. So it actually created an options object, as you can see here, bitmap factory.options, and it set this ingest decode bounds to true. It actually called this instance variable on this object. Okay, and then we have this bitmap factory class dot decode resource. So as you can see here, it referred to this res resources, as you can see, that we have as an argument. Okay, bitmap factory that decode resource res, and we have res ID, and we have these options. Okay, so and here, as you can see, it says calculate in sample size. So options dot in sample size, here it is actually calling this method that we actually pasted here, as you can see here, calculate in sample size. So calculate in sample size options. So as you can see, it refers to this options object, as you can see here, required width and required height. Okay, so it is gonna calculate the in sample size according to our images for us. And we have this options object that ingest decode bounds to false. So decode bitmap with in sample size set. So as you can see here, it says set this in sample size value to false so that we can actually output that image to the screen. Okay. And here it says return. We need to actually return an object of type bitmap, as you can see here. Return bitmap factory that decode resource res. So as you can see here, it refers to this res resources, res ID and options. Okay. Now let's actually go back to our getView method. And here, let's actually type in img animal dot set image bitmap, as you can see here. And here we need to actually put in an object of type bitmap. Okay. So here I'm just gonna, as you can see here, this method, as you can see, is gonna return an object of type bitmap. So we can actually call this method here, as you can see inside of this parenthesis. So the name of this method is decode sampled bitmap from resource. So I can just type in decode sampled bitmap from resource, and this method is going to actually accept some arguments. Okay, so the resources is context, okay, dot get resources. So it's going to actually get the resources of our project. Here we need to put in the ID of our images inside of our application, inside of our project. So the ID is animal images sub position. As you can see here, we have these animal images, and we can actually refer to these IDs to these images by just typing animal images sub position. So as you can see here, we have this position as an argument. Okay, so we could just refer to the name of that position here. And here, let's actually create a new line character so that you can see these values better. And here, as you can see, we need to actually specify the required width and the required height. Okay, as you can see inside this customized list view here, the layout width and the layout height of our image view is 100. So here inside of these parentheses, I can assign the value 50, comma 50 for the layout width and for the layout height. And now let's actually run our project and see what happens. So as you can see here, now our application is actually running on this emulator. And now you can see that we can actually scroll and we can see these images here. Okay. And now our application actually doesn't crash. Okay. It's not actually taking too much memory. Okay. But if your device has a very low memory, it's going to actually take, and if the images are actually high quality images, they're going to actually taking too much memory, and then your application is going to actually crash. Okay. So make sure that you always test your applications on an actual device. Okay. And here, if you want to actually your images, if you want your images to take actually less memory, you can actually assign, for example, a value, for example, 30 here for the layout, for the required width, and 30 for the required height. And let's actually run our project again. So as you can see, our application is running on this emulator, and you can see that we have these images here. Okay. And the quality of these images are a little bit low, but you can see that our application is not actually taking too much memory. Okay. So hopefully that makes sense. And now let's actually go back inside this customized listview.java file. And if you have any questions about these concepts that I am actually teaching you in this tutorial, please post the discussion in the course, and then I'll do my best to answer all of your questions. But for now, let's actually add in some more lines of code here. Okay. And here where we actually created these string objects, as you can see here, let's actually create another string object here. Okay. String. And the name of this object is old txt animal name value. Okay. Assignment operator. And then I can just refer to the name of this txt animal name object dot get text dot to string. And here let's actually add another word here, value, and here value for the name of these other objects. Okay, so we have an old txt animal name value, we have an old txt animal power value, and we have an old txt animal speed value. Okay, so now let's actually add in some more lines of code here. So now as you can see inside this emulator, now you can see that we need to assign the name of the animal, animal power, and animal speed. Okay, so here I can just type in txt animal name dot set text old txt animal name value plus as you can see we have an array here, animal names. Okay, so we can just refer to the name of this array. Okay, and inside of this method, as you can see, animal names. Okay, sub position. So as you can see, we have this position as an argument of this getView method. Okay, and now let's actually call this txt animal power dot set text, and as you can see we have animals power array here, as you can see here. So we can actually call that array here. So first of all, I need to refer to the name of this old txt animal power value plus animals power sub position. Okay, txt animal speed dot set text old txt animal speed value plus animals speed. As you can see here, we have this array here, which is of type integer array, as you can see, and sub position. So now let's actually run our project again and see what happens. So as you can see here, now our application is actually running on this emulator, and now we can see these values here. Okay, name of the animal bear, animal power 200, and animal speed 50. So as you can see here, we actually created these arrays, and we actually assigned these values to the array respectively. Okay, so hopefully that makes sense. For example, bear, the power is 200 and the speed is 50. Okay, and you can actually see the other animals here. Okay, so hopefully that makes sense. And let's actually do something when the user clicks on one of these items inside of this customized list view. Okay, so here, as you can see, let's actually go back inside this custom list view.java file, and inside of this getView method here, I can actually call, as you can see here, we have this view here. Okay, now I can actually call this view dot set onClick listener. Okay, now we want to create an anonymous inner class. Okay, new onClick listener. So just select this method here and then press on enter key here. Okay, so as you can see here, this block of code here, okay, is gonna actually create an anonymous, okay, inner class. Okay, so we can see that class. Okay, this is actually anonymous, and that class is gonna actually implement the onClick listener interface. Okay, so because that class implements this interface, okay, we need to that class needs to actually implement this method too. So that's why you can see this block of code as it is right here. Okay, that's why we need to implement this method here. So inside of this onClick method, I can put in my own implementations here. So inside of this method, I'm gonna actually paste in a line of code, and then I'm gonna explain to you what's going on here. So as you can see here, I created a toast object. I referred to the name of this toast class dot make text, and here I actually specified as an argument the context. Okay, so I declared this context, as you can see here in our class context, and here, as you can see inside of our onClick method, we can see this context. Okay, and here for the second argument, we need to specify the text that we want to show to the user, and for the third argument, we need to actually specify the duration of the text that we want to show to the user, and then we need to call the show method on this method in order to actually show this text to the user. Okay, so let's actually run our project again and see what happens. So as you can see, our application is running on this emulator. So if I actually click on one of these items, let's see what happens. So it says name of the animal bird, name of the animal cow. Okay, and here, as you can see, I am getting the value of this txt animal name. Okay, so I can just click on this, name of the animal horse. Okay, I can put in other values here. So I could just put in some two double quotes here, \n. Okay, so I didn't actually concatenate these two values together, and here I could just put a plus operator here, I could just refer to the name of this txt animal power dot get text, and then again I could actually put in a plus operator, 2 double quotes, /n new line character plus operator txt animal speed dot get text, as you can see here. Now let's actually run our project again and see what happens. So as you can see, our application is running on this emulator. So if I click on this item here, as you can see, it says name of the animal bird, and as you can see, we can see power and speed. So here I could just change this length underline short to length underline long. Let's run our project again. So here, as you can see, again, our application is running. And if I actually click on this first item here, it says name of the animal bear, animal power 200, and animal speed 50. So here, name of the animal cat, animal power 50, animal speed 60. So for example, tiger, animal name, tiger, power 220, and speed 100. Lion, and you can see these values here. So hopefully that makes sense. And let's actually go back inside this customized list view.java file here. And I think that's enough for this application. And you can actually create your own customized list view and bind that list view with this list view here. So thank you very much for watching. And if you have any questions, please post the discussion in the course, and then I'll do my best to answer all of your questions. And thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you in the next tutorial.